شكرا أختي في الميلورد. نعم، المسيح لما جه بشر اليهود والأمم. هو أتى أولا إلى اليهود، ولكنه أيضا وهو بالجسد في خدمته على الأرض بدأ المسيح هو أول من كرز للأمم. في ناس بتفتكر ان بولس الرسول هو أول رسول بولس. إنما المسيح أول شخص كرز للأمم كما كرز لليهود. وهنسمع إجابة رائعة جدا من دكتور ثيوفيلوس لأنه بيحب الموضوع ده. Dr. Theophilus, Filmy Lord is asking about the preaching that God or evangelism. Jesus came to the Israelites, to the children of Israel, to those who are lost. And also at the same time he went to Samaria where he preached the gospel, the good news, and many came to him. Can we say that Jesus started to break the barrier between the Israelites and the people from the other nations, or did Jesus preach it or evangelize to the nations on his time? Mike is yours.
Yes, there are several things that Jesus did that showed that he said, yes, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So that was his primary and specific mission. And even Paul, when he was designated a missionary to the Gentiles, he said wherever he went, it was to the Jews first. He looked first to a Jewish synagogue and told them that their Messiah had come. And then he went to the Gentiles. So the work of Jesus to the Israelites was primary. But on several occasions he showed that with his coming, things were going to change. For one thing, he went into Phoenicia, Syrophoenicia, and there that woman begged him to heal her daughter. And Jesus said, well, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And it's not right to take the children's bread and feed it to the puppies under the table. And she says, yes, Lord. She said, but after the meal, the little puppies get the scraps at least. And he says, oh, woman, great is your faith. Not in all Israel have I found faith like yours. The same with a Roman official. He was amazed at the man's faith. Also, in his initial sermon in the synagogue at Nazareth, he started out by saying that there were many lepers in Israel in the time, or first of all, he said there were many hungry people in the time of Elijah, but he wasn't sent except to a widow in Sidon, in Phoenicia. And he said there were many lepers in the days of Elisha, and none of them got cured except the pagan, heathen, Syrian general Naaman. After Jesus had said that, they mobbed him. They dragged him out of the synagogue to the brow of a hill, and they're going to pitch him off and kill him. But he was also saying already early in his ministry that God, even in the Old Testament, showed compassion to Gentiles. And implicit in that is the fact that there's hope for Gentiles. And then later, near the end of his ministry, when he was in Jerusalem at the temple, some Greeks found Philip and one of the other disciples of Jesus, and they said, aren't you followers of this Nazarene, this Jesus, this prophet? We would like to see him. We'd like to, probably they wanted to see the miracles or meet Jesus. And they didn't know what to tell him. They said, well, you stay here. We'll go ask him. And they said, Jesus, there's some Gentiles out there, and they want to talk to you. They want to meet you. And Jesus gave kind of a cryptic answer. He said, a grain of wheat bears no fruit as long as it's in the wheat bin. But if it falls into the earth, then it springs up and bears fruit. And he said, when I am lifted up, will draw all men unto me. So Jesus, in this request from the Gentiles, somehow sensed it was like the hour had struck for him to die, and that with his death, multitudes of people all over the world would become believers. In this plea of the Gentiles, we would see Jesus. He realized it's time now. He had completed his mission primarily to the Jews, but it was time to hear it for the Gentiles to hear. He also said, also in the Gospel of John, my sheep, I have other sheep besides what's in this fold. Them also must I bring, and there will be one sheepfold and one shepherd. And so that was his way of saying, my mission is twofold. First to the Jews, but then also the Gentiles will be included, and there will not be two churches, a church of the Jews and a church of the Gentiles. There will be one fold and one shepherd. And this is a fulfillment of Isaiah, I think it's Isaiah chapter 49, where the Father said to his Son, it's too small a thing that you only be my servant to the remnant of Israel. I will send, you're also going to be my servant to the Gentiles. I would like to just take a minute and look that up if I'm correct. I thought it was Isaiah, Isaiah 49, beginning with verse 5. Now the Lord says, who formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob back to him, and that Israel might be gathered to him. So here the Lord says, part of your mission is to bring Israel back. Jacob is the father, and Israel is his other name. So that's part of his mission. Bring Jacob back, and Israel is to be gathered back to him. But then, in verse 6, he says, it is too light a thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and restore the preserved of Israel. I will give you as a light to the nations, that my salvation may reach to the end of the earth. Now, the Jews refer to the Gentiles as the nations. And, in fact, in the Old King James Version of the English Bible, it probably says, I will give you as a light to the Gentiles, that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth. So here in Isaiah already, prophetically, he says of the Messiah, part of your job is to bring the remnant of Israel back to the Father, back into fellowship and faith and obedience. But that's too small an assignment. It's too light a thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and restore the preserved of Israel. That's only a minor part of your work. Here comes the bigger part. I'll give you as a light to the Gentiles, that my salvation may reach to the end of the earth. So Jesus knew, and there were hints all through his ministry, from that beginning sermon in Nazareth on up to the week of his crucifixion, when he said, I, if I am lifted up, will draw all men unto me. So he knew, following his death and resurrection, though there'd be many Jews would come to faith, the greater mission was going to be to the Gentiles.